It has direct port nitrous injection.
So the KL series engines fit really tight in their engine bay, so there's really not much room to pick exactly any spot you want to put direct port nitrous. So your biggest clearance issue is the closing of the hood. For the initial setup, I originally ordered the blue fan spray nozzles. Later on, I will change them out to the silver scoop nozzles. So we're hoping to achieve this angle right here. According to the Zex Nitrous manual, should you mount the nozzle in a metal duct, just drill a 1/4 inch hole. There was a tap that was included with my kit, so I'll be using it. And according to the manual, the parts list says it includes a 1 16 NPT National Pipe Thread tap. Note, for tapping out this hole, ensure that the tap enters in perfectly straight and begins biting evenly. So this angle that we're holding it at will set up for all the other angles to match this one. To match the same angle as the first nozzle, we inserted a drill bit into the nozzle to give us guidance for the next one. So after doing a spray test, it turns out I like the silver nozzle on the left more than the blue nozzle because it is a slower flowing and it's thick all around instead of just a flat fan spray like the blue one. So I'm using red Loctite for the thread sealer. Companies like Nitrous Outlet shows to apply red Loctite to their threads.
Now when we assemble our nozzles,
Other companies like Nitrous Express say that they include thread sealer in their kit, but watching one of their professional videos, it looks like they also use a type of Loctite. You can see that they're using Loctite in this video, but it doesn't tell me which Loctite number they use.
So as we're getting ready to assemble these, we want to make sure that this surface right here doesn't have sealer on it.
But for some companies, they don't recommend using red Loctite as a thread sealer. In fact, some of the companies actually said do not use it because they want their parts serviceable in the future. For this setup, I'll be running the Nitrous Outlet distribution block and the Nitrous Outlet plumber's kit for a 6-cylinder engine. The first thing we want to do is start planning our bend round, but it's easier to do once the end is flared and when the tube sleeve is attached. Since nitrous lines require a 37-degree flaring instead of a 45, I tried this new tool off Amazon to see how it would do with this kit. This tool does come with a little bottle of lubrication. Make sure you apply it to the flaring tool and to the inside of the tube. Once you have inserted the nitrous line, the OP0 will push the line flush against the fitting tool. So insert the line so it sticks a little bit out of the flaring block. Next, you turn the handle to tighten the line so it does not move while it's getting flared. Next, we turn it to option 2, OP2. Option 2 is for the AN single flare setting. You'll need to use a good amount of force to flare the fitting. The fittings for the hardline are the tube sleeve and the tube nut. Before bending the hardline, you want to make sure you have the tube sleeve on first. If not, it may almost be impossible to get on later. We are making our first bend at 90 degrees and we're keeping it closest to the nitrous nozzle as possible. From this point, we plan on our second bend turning right. For some of these bends on all the hard lines, we bend a little bit each time. This allows us to adjust the bend upward or downward in the tool depending on where we want the bend. Since this one is the furthest one away, we want the shortest route possible from the distribution block. This block comes with everything you need. There's no need to flare this side of the line. All you need is the nut, the compression sleeve, and to hand snug it down. We are going to wait till all lines are fastened and the distribution block is mounted before we actually tighten every line down. A string can be useful for practicing which ways you want to run your nitrous lines. So we cut the string to the length of our first line. This is how much we'll be cutting from each line. We are wanting the run path of each line to be the same length. This way, each line will get an even amount of nitrous distribution. that noise was. Sometimes your tube bender is not enough, so you must improvise. It's getting closer. The rubber mallet and the wood is soft enough that it does not put any flat spots in the tube.
Actual tool.
It been too much? I see it. We found a bracket that will work for a nitrous block, and it's out of an old fog machine.
Come right off the top of that this way.
For the 6 nitrous nozzles mounted into the intake, their jets are in the lowest setting for nitrous spray for this setup. However, I want a plan B for lowering the nitrous since this is a fresh motor. Unlike the 6 nitrous jets in the 6 nitrous nozzles, I started with one of the lowest recommendations. But for plan B, I'm going to start with a highest spraying nozzle and see what it does in a spray test and lower it as needed.
It's okay. We're going to see if we can go around one full turn. Now keep going that way. Oh, good. All right. Nice. All right. Put that guy back in, and then put your purple cable on. Now put it on.
Taking a look in the upper side of the intake manifold, you can see that there is no nitrous building up with an open spray test. So to me, it looks like the new setup has a little bit more nitrous than I intended. Both the new and the old spray test were in the same type of environment. They're in a closed-in garage where the garage door hasn't been opened in a while, and the air temperature remains the same in the garage. So this is an old school wet jet I just had laying around. No, I've never ran it on the MX6 before, but this one's actually considered a small wet jet. Some of the wet jets are actually larger than these. I could not imagine running a wet jet on these back 3 runners. This is with no lines attached, and there's barely any room to get some lines in there. The wet jet's fittings are higher up, so you definitely may have a problem with the hood closing. But if you were to use some hard 90 degrees fittings, there is a possibility these would still work. So I found this picture in a Super Street magazine, and it looks like a KLZE intake manifold, and it does look like it is possible to do a wet shot.
Never want that.